First with Kareem. I understand that Jackie played a very direct role in your life, particularly in your decision to attend UCLA. Tell us about your earliest memories of Jackie Robinson and how you two came into contact.
Thank you. For me, growing up in Manhattan during the 1940s and 50s, I was a big baseball fan. And, I live in Giant territory, northern end of Manhattan in Inwood, if those of you know about Manhattan. But I was Dodgers all the way. And Jackie was my hero. I mean, I lived and died with the Dodgers. I used to listen to the games with my mom on the radio. And it was always life and death, you know. Baseball in America, well, in New York City, was who did you root for, the Yankees or the Giants or the Dodgers? And that was it. And the World Series champion stayed in New York for about 7 years. If the Yankees didn't win it, the Dodgers or the Giants won it. It was an amazing time for New York baseball. So for me, rooting for the Dodgers was just part and parcel of who I was. And my mom admired Jackie Robinson and pointed out the aspects of who he was that I should emulate. The fact that he was articulate and intelligent and someone who had taken on a challenge to deal with institutionalized racism. And I really didn't understand it as adults did, but I just knew that he was doing something special and that he was a very special person. And finally, when I was in high school, I got a letter from him. I think he was working with people at Chocolate Pulling Nuts at that point. And he encouraged me to go to UCLA. He said I'd have a good experience there and that I would not regret going to UCLA. That it was a great place to attend university. And that's that story.
Jerry, you've broken color barriers on your own. Your father attended segregated school, and in fact, I understand that your cell phone ringtone is Dr. King's drum major instrument sermon. Can you share with us some of the stories that your father might have told you about Jackie Robinson, and also how his career impacted your career in baseball and beyond?
Well, that's a very good question. I think as far as the impact goes, Jackie Robinson continues to impact my career. If you watch our games, and hopefully we can play with that kind of style and flair that he brought to it, it's kind of a National League type of game, you'll hopefully see some of that. I think the one way for me that I've honored him since I've been here, whether people know it or not, is that during the course of batting practice, my pants are down. But once the game starts, I put them Jackie Robinson style. So every game that you see me manage, I go out to I remember your friend David Lopes asked Carlos Delgado, why does Jerry put those pants up? He got those skinny legs down there. He need to hide those legs. I told him, I said, hey, he's Jackie Robinson right here. But that's my way of honoring him. I didn't obviously have an opportunity to know him like some of you known him, but the impact that he has had on me with his foundational principles have been very huge. So every time you see me go to the mound and you see those pants up there, that's JR.
And now Kareem. It's been over 6 years since Jackie Robinson broke the color barrier, yet his name remains synonymous as a pioneer. What do you feel, what do you admire most about Jackie Robinson, and what do you feel are his greatest accomplishments?
One of the things that I admire most about Jackie Robinson is the fact that consistently through his life, he had a goal to confront institutionalized racism. And it started before he ever got involved with professional baseball. During World War II, he was in the 9th Cavalry and then got transferred to the 761st Tank Battalion. During their preparation to go to Europe, Jackie Robinson was their morale officer. He didn't make it to Europe because he got involved in an incident down in Fort Hood where he wouldn't sit on the back of the bus. And he got court-martialed for that. And while that was transpiring, he had to stay and deal with that. And the unit went over to England and then on to the European continent to fight. And he had to fight that battle here. And it really gives me an idea of what divine providence is all about, because I think the good Lord was saving him for another fight that was just as important as World War II for us here in America.
Given where we are today, can you help us? Can you tell us their most sustaining memory of Jackie Robinson and how you feel his impact, well, his impact on society, the impact of his legacy on society?
For me, my most vivid memory of him is when my dad took me to a game at Evansville in 1956, and I knew who Jack was, I knew who all the doctors were. I knew their numbers, and I knew what order they batted in and everything. And Jack got on first base, and I knew enough to watch him. And he stole second base. And I was sitting out there in the bleachers in the right center field. Left center field, excuse me. And I remember he disappeared. He kicked up a cloud of dust and disappeared into it. But he came out, he's wiping off his uniform, and he had stolen second base, and I got to see it. And I'll never forget that. That was a very special moment when my hero showed me what he was made of. And that was enough for me. You know, in fact, I think I only got to go like 2 times, but it was very worthwhile.
I think for me, in watching I obviously didn't get an opportunity to witness it live, but from watching him on film, and my most vivid memory is him leading off first base. It's like Kareem said, the intensity that he had, and the jockeying that he was doing back and forth, and then taking that base. Not only, see, when Jackie played, he played with a sense of flair and style. But what was interesting about that was it was conducive to the game. It meant something in the course of the game. Whereas nowadays you get kids that do certain style and flair. The game 15-0 don't mean nothing. You know? But Jackie was doing this thing. He stole home at the most critical time of the game. That's what was key for me, is to watch him perform under those conditions with the flair that he had and the style that he had in the flow and the rhythm of winning baseball. That was marvelous to me.